Listen, self-acceptance, I don't care your age, your gender, your background, embracing yourself is truly the fundamental part to a fulfilling life. Like, if you really want to have a fulfilling life, you have to learn to embrace and accept all of who you are. But I also want to make clear that self acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It doesn't mean like I'm just good with everything as it is. That's not actual self acceptance. Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your vision and empowerment and extreme execution coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And this is the month of February that I've deemed the love month. I love y'all. Love is such a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm giddy. And last week we talked a little bit about, starting this month off with the best love, and that in the true essence of best love is self-love. And before we get into what we're going to discuss this week, just want to remind you guys that my accountability tracking workbook, Finding Your Way, and Finding Your Way, a guided journal to loving, healing yourself. They are both out on my site as well as Amazon. I'm super excited. I'm excited for those who are already using it and loving how they're able to track their goals as well as to start their journaling journey, as well as my book, Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself. That's also on Amazon, as well as my website, www.mosass.com. And now that we've kind of gotten that out of the way, I just want to say that this week is really, really crucial in understanding when I start talking about the essence of self-love, and that is self-acceptance. Listen, self-acceptance, I don't care your age, your gender, your background, embracing yourself is truly the fundamental part to a fulfilling life. Like, if you really want to have a fulfilling life, you have to learn to embrace and accept all of who you are. But I also want to make clear that self-acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It doesn't mean like I'm just good with everything as it is. That's not actual self-acceptance. And so I decided this week, because we used to do this before, where I would give definitions to break down a word. So I want to give you the definition of self-acceptance. And self-acceptance is the unconditional embrace and acknowledgement of oneself, including strengths, weaknesses, and all the nuances that make an individual unique. You notice that in self-acceptance, it's not just the strengths, it's not just the great things about yourself, it's also the weaknesses. Why is it important to know that? Because right now, majority of people are living a life that truly isn't theirs. They're living a life whether that they thought their parents wanted for them, the life that they're trying to live for their children or their spouse or their job, but it's never about truly what they want. And the reason is because they don't know what they want, and that's because they don't know who they are, and they don't know who they are because they have never set to learn the intricate parts of themselves, to accept who they are. And here's the thing about accepting it. Accepting it just means I love everything about myself, and it doesn't mean that I don't have a desire to change and or to grow. Okay? As a matter of fact, self-acceptance is the foundation for growth. And because it starts with acknowledging and appreciating who you are. See, a lot of people want to usher in change from a hurt place, and it never lasts. When you put yourself down and you talk negatively about yourself and to try to change yourself, you ever notice that doesn't really change you? You may get up for a minute and you may work out or you may try to eat healthy, but it doesn't last. And that's because it's coming from a negative place. When you're trying to be positive, you cannot come from a negative place. And when we talk about change and growth to live a life of abundance of all sorts, it has to come from a positive place. And I know, you know what, most people change when they've had enough is enough, and it always comes from a bad place. But today I want you to ask yourself, why even is that? Why must it come from a horrible place in order for me to change? So I really want to right now dig into why, now that we know what self acceptance is, why does self acceptance matter? It matters because when you accept yourself, like I said, you create a foundation of positive change. And so what happens is when you come from that place, you come from a place of self-love. I love myself enough to know that right now I am not at my healthiest size. I'm not as healthy as I desire to be. So I love myself enough to change that. I'm going to research what's the best nutrition to put in my body. I'm going to research fun programs that will allow me to be healthy because we all need some cardiovascular in our lives, okay? Not cardio all the time, because if you know me, if you've been around long enough to know, I'm actually a weightlifting girl, okay? I was a former power lifter who competed. So I love my weights as well, right? And we have to get into a combination of both, but I'm not here to tell you what it is. I'm here to say that fitness can be fun. Find something that's functional. What does functional start with? Fun, fun. Make it fun for yourself and you'll stick with it. But come from a place of accepting and loving yourself. Like, okay, here I am. I'm not at my ideal size, but I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to call myself names. I'm going to just say I love myself enough to grow, and I love myself enough to change, and I love myself enough to reach out to get help if I need it. So self-acceptance matters because it actually facilitates personal growth. Next, it enhances, I can't listen, out of all this, mental and emotional well-being, because it is the negative self-talk that keeps us in a stuck place. When we start to love ourselves, we give ourselves this thing called grace, where we say, you know what, it took us how many ever years to get to where we are today. And I'm going to need grace to grow. I'm going to need grace to change. And as I'm going through that, I'm not going to be putting myself down, right? Like, no. So when you start to accept and love yourself, it starts to improve your mental health, right? Because you start to affirm yourself, not looking for somebody on the outside to do it, but to say, you know what, I am enough. I am worthy. And then listen, then reaffirm yourself and saying, yes, you are enough. Yes, you are worthy. And that fosters resilience and helps you to manage your stress and anxiety a little bit better. Because when you start to love and accept who you are, then guess what you'll start to do? You'll start to nurture and care for yourself how you do everyone else, how you so lovingly give everyone else love, but you don't do it for yourself. That's when your self-acceptance does for you. Says it just starts you from a place of like, listen, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm okay with me. And I love myself enough to grow. So that's why self-acceptance matters, right? It matters from a personal growth standpoint. It matters from a mental and emotional well-being, because emotional health is everything. Emotional intelligence is everything. We have to get to a place where we are proactive and not reactive. And the way to get to proactivity is to learn, or what we talked about last week was that self-love piece of yourself, to start to do this work and then accept and learning to accept who you are. And so then I can get proactive, and instead of being pissed off because somebody says something to me that I don't like, or mad at myself or putting myself down, and now I got to react. And so reaction usually leads to overeating, right? Because when we're eating our emotions, we're stuffing them down. We're not saying the things that we need to say to the people we need to say them to. This is why this becomes important. Another reason why self-acceptance is important is because it strengthens your relationships. Listen, when you can speak your truth, the truth not just to who you are, but we're not speaking truth from a standpoint of we're not hearing anyone else out. No, we're having effective communication conversations. We're having hot conversations that's honest, open, and transparent. We need to, here's the thing, when you learn to accept yourself, you will understand that those conversations that people will say, well, I don't like conflict. It's not conflict, it's clarity. It's clarity on where I stand in this and where you stand in this. And then we can meet in the middle, or we have some common ground, or we can simply say, I agree to disagree. All of that's fine. But when you don't grow to love and accept yourself, you won't do that. And so you have these failed relationships because you harbor resentment because you didn't say the things that you needed to say or wanted to say. You're not having the conversations. What you're doing is you're running around holding pieces of information within you, not dealing with them. So you build up resentment. And this is why our relationships are falling apart. They're not falling apart because of the big things. They're not falling apart because somebody cheated. They're falling apart because there were little things and little nuances that bothered you all along that you never addressed. And you didn't address them because you told yourself some negative thing about yourself. Well, if I speak up, then I'm gonna be considered this, or people say, well, she's too independent, she's too this, she's too that. I was thinking of the B word because they love to throw that word around when a woman stands up for herself and speaks truth to her power, right? And even for my men, and I know that sometimes when I come and I talk, but it's even true for some men. Sometimes they hold back on how they really feel because they like, oh, well, they say all men, toxic masculinity or whatever the label is for the day, or somebody's a narcissist or whatever it is, or you're toxic. People are so scared of being labeled, they won't speak up to how they're truly feeling in the moment. And we can have an intelligent conversation. The emotions don't have to run the conversation when we're emotionally intelligent. I'm going to say it again. Our emotions don't have to run the conversation when we're emotionally intelligent. And when we have learned to accept ourselves, we can have a conversation that says, it's okay that that person has a difference of opinions. That's what makes the world go round. I don't want people around me who think and act exactly the way I do. No, ma'am. That's not what's up. And it doesn't help you to grow. Different opinions help you to grow. And here's the thing about that. Everybody has one. That doesn't mean you have to take it to heart. But when you learn to love yourself and you know who you are, and someone expresses something to you that you may not agree with, you can say, I agree to disagree, and that's okay. I hold firm to what I believe in. You can hold firm to what you believe in, and that's all right. It's okay. No one has to get hurt as a result of that. But the reason why people take it out of context and they argue and they fuss and they fight is because truly it's the insecurity that's speaking really loud. I need to be right. It has to be my way. It's my belief. It's my God. It's my. And it's like, are you serious? That's not how this works. But this is why self-acceptance is so important. And then you can grow to have more deeper and meaningful connections with people. Because that's what life is really all about. Who are you connecting to? Who are you serving? Who are you leading? Who are you guiding? Who are you being a testament for? We can't get there without self-love and self-acceptance, period. Another reason why self-acceptance is important is because it fosters positive behavior, positive lifestyles. Listen, when I learned, and I was like, I go straight there. Listen, when I learned to love and accept who I was, man, all the people that I got to meet on my journey, all the different programs that I went into, and some of them we are still close to this day. I have a group of people who I met in a program, and we still, every single Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get on a FaceTime call all together and we talk about our goals. We talk about our dreams. We talk about what's happening with us. I mean, it's an environment that's so beautiful. And it's our little fishbowl and we love it. But see, when you start to grow to love and accept yourself and start becoming the best version of yourself, you attract more people like that. That's why I was talking about those deep and meaningful connections. And then those old habits that you used to have when you used to emotionally eat or used to go off and cuss somebody out. Yes, I'm talking about myself. Those things can dissipate because you know that you no longer need them because they were just a mask anyway. I get you. I understand that you're lashing out. It's just a mask for hurt. It's just a mask because you have not known any other way to do it and not even realize that there is another way and that all things are possible. Sometimes we just have to get around the right voices and the right people and see the right things to understand that. And I get that. But this is why loving and accepting yourself is going to be huge on this journey to bold living. I said 2024 was the year of the bold, and it is. And that means that we are going to be taking risks, stepping out of our comfort zone, being courageous. And that starts with number one, I said in January, facing the fear. Next, we're dealing with this self-love and self-worth, and we're not dealing with it, we're healing things. Because this is what's going to take you to the next level. And lastly, oh my God, why it's so important, it helps boost your self-confidence, your self-esteem. Listen, people always say, well, how can I be more confident? You have to do things over and over again. So when you learn to love yourself and you start to affirm yourself and you do it over and over again, the more you stand in your power, the more you speak up, the more you speak positively to yourself, right? Those are the things that boost your confidence. And we're not talking ego, we're talking true confidence. When I stand in my power and say, I love myself enough to love who I am, as in, I love the fact that I'm funny. I love the fact that I can dance because your girl can bust a two-step. I love the fact that I'm still a Jersey girl through and through and love my hoop earrings, right? And I love the fact that I can go from the boardroom to the hood if I desire. I love the versatility about myself. I can say that. And then I can say, you know what? I love the fact that I can face that I'm not at the weight I used to be. I'm going through menopause. It's a part of my life. I've put on 45 pounds in this new journey of, my life. It's new to me. I've never been here before, but I'm going to love myself through it. I'm going to listen. I'm going to love this cellulite till I get it off. Okay. And I actively work through it. This is not the place I saw myself. This is not the place I want to be, but I love myself enough to walk through this with grace. You see how that sounds so differently? Oh my God, I'm so big. I can't stand myself. Oh, you know what? No man is going to like me because I'm this size. Nobody's going to care about me. Can you stop playing with me today? And when you make these changes of loving and accepting yourself, this is why we got to do the inside work. Because then when we do, we understand that if a man truly loves you, come here, my sisters, for a second. When a man truly loves you, it's never about your size. It's never about your size. It's about your heart and your mind and your soul. When you can see his vision and make it grander. When you can be a partner. When you learn to love and accept yourself. A man loves a woman with confidence. Okay? And that confidence has nothing to do with size. I need y'all to hear that. And that doesn't mean that people don't have preferences. I'm never going to get that twisted. Just as we have preferences, so do they. And your preference is okay as long as you're not killing someone else so you can have your preference. I don't have to down the way someone looks to say that I love my preference. Somebody need to hear that today. I don't care. You can have your preference. But just because you have your preference don't mean your preference is right. I'm going to tell y'all this over and over again. You keep living in this world of right, you're going to find yourself right by yourself. And you're going to stay by yourself because there need to be right. You're going to be standing right there, right by yourself, on the right side of the street corner. Okay? So I say all that to say, we talked about the benefits, right? The benefits. It facilitates personal growth, enhances your mental and emotional well-being, strengthens your relationship, fosters positive behavior change, gets you around the right connections with the right people, and boosts your confidence and self-esteem. So I know you're going to say, well, where do I begin? Okay, where do I begin in self-acceptance? And the very first thing is self-reflection. You have to take time to listen. If you don't get anything else from me today, can you please take some time to think and stop doing? Just do. Everybody's just doing. If you ever took a second to sit down and think with your own thoughts, not the thoughts of those on social media, not the thoughts of the people that you listen to, not the thoughts of your friends, not the thoughts of your mother, just sit down and reflect. What are my strengths? These are the self-reflection questions. What are my strengths? What do I value? And what areas do I need to grow in? And remember, I said last week, in order to heal, you have to be real. So when doing the self-reflection, you got to get real. And if you don't feel that you can be real with yourself, here's what you can do. Find 4 people that you trust, that you love, that will give you the feedback you desire. How do you see me? What do you see some of my strengths are? What do you value about me? Right? Where are there any areas that you see I can grow in? Listen, that crew that I'm with every Thursday morning, they can give me all of that and then some. And because I've done my healing, I can hear them and filter it through a healed lens, which means I'm not going to take it personal. Please don't go and ask for feedback if you're going to take it personal. Don't do it. If you're not ready, then don't do it. Okay? That means for you that you may need to start with a therapist or a coach. Okay. And so how do we, when we're doing this self-reflecting, right? We are journaling. We're getting, I can't tell you the power of journaling to get it all out on paper. So as you work through this, you can actually see what you wrote. Make a column for your strength. Make a column for your weakness. Make a column for your values. Make a column for areas of growth. First thing you must do is to self-reflect. The next thing you have to do is challenge, oh my God, challenge your negative thoughts. You have to identify and challenge negative self-talk. I need you to be honest. What are some of the negative things that you say to yourself? I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not the right size. I'm not the right complexion. Whatever that is, right? I need for you to identify that. And once you've identified it, I need you to start to write affirmations from a positive perspective. If you think you are not enough, I need you to say, I am enough. I need you to say, I am worthy. And then I need you to also put a column next to, after you state your I am, I need you to state you are. And so if for those of you who have purchased my book, you will know that that's an actual exercise that's in my book. I talk about how to affirm oneself. It is so important on this journey, but you have to identify where you negatively talk down to yourself. If you're a single person and you're out, what negative things come to your mind where you think that you can't be in a relationship with a man that you love or you like or that you've seen across the bar or whatever, right? What same thing for men. I need you to identify what the negative self-talk is that you do to yourself on a daily basis. And I know it's true. And how do I know it's true? Because you're human. And a human brain is always going to dish out something negative before positive. Period. End of story. But you have to know what that is in order for you to change it. Okay? The next thing is, oh my God, there is a lady who I love and adore. Her name is Tanisha, and she teaches on this next topic. This is so huge for each and every one of us. The next thing you must do is forgive yourself. Listen, we'll walk around and forgive people who have hurt us over and over again, but will not take a second and forgive ourselves. Listen, you didn't know what you didn't know. But now that you know better, you can do better, and you have to. You must. And I never say have to and must in videos. Usually you'll hear me say you get to, you choose to, or you bless to. For this, I'm saying you must forgive yourself. Because that's the thing that's holding you back. That's the thing that's stopping you from loving yourself, because you're sitting around in this guilt and you're shaming and blaming yourself for things that you didn't know. Listen, if you are human, you are going to learn and grow. That means you are going to mess up somewhere along the way. There's no perfect being on this earth. I don't care who it is. Your pastor is not perfect. The Pope isn't perfect. The nuns aren't perfect. There is no perfect being. If it's a human on earth, it is not perfect. Period. So you have to forgive yourself for what you didn't know, and you have to get help. If you've done something that is you feel is that's unforgivable and that's shameful, then you have to go get help. That's where you have to call in a therapist. And you have to work through that thing. And I said a therapist, yes, I did, because that's greater than a coach. If you cannot forgive yourself, then you need to work through why that is. That's so important. The next thing you have to do is practice mindfulness. This is where I talk about getting in a space where you can get quiet and you can get present, where you can not think about the past and don't go into the future, but stay right here, right now, in a non-judgmental zone and get clear. So many of us do not practice mindfulness, and that's why we're not grateful. And this is why we don't love ourselves. And this is why we don't accept ourselves. Too busy thinking about what we did in the past, living in the shame, too busy going in the future about what you need to do and what you don't think you can do. Never present. Get present. Get present so we can heal the past and prepare for the future that we want. Okay? Next, surround yourself with positive people in positive environments. I can't say this. If you're around somebody who's complaining all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, this is why you can't love to learn and accept yourself. You have to remove yourself from them environments. If you're around people that all they want to do is gossip about what this person has and what this person don't have, and this person is a bum and this person is this, you wonder why you are so self-conscious. You're self-conscious about the way you look and the way your hair is and the way your clothes is because you're around people who sit around and nitpick people apart. You got to get from around them because truthfully, they don't like themselves. I said what I said. They can pretend, but the truth is, when you do that on a daily basis, because we all say some stuff here and there, let's not act, like I said, we're not perfect and we're not going to lie. But when it's daily, there's something wrong. And you have to get around an environment that's going to bring out the best in you. Now, this is not an environment that's going to just tell you what you want to hear either. That's that's false positivity, and I don't believe in that. I'm talking about an environment where we're all working to become the best version of ourselves, and therefore we're honest and we live with integrity. Okay? You have to get around that. And listen, people don't want to hear this truth, but you may have to pay for it. I did. I paid to go in certain environments, and as a result of going to those environments, I made lasting connections that are now going to be forever. And you may have to pay for it. And what that means is, let's be clear, you're not paying for something else or for those people. You're investing in yourself. When you invest in yourself and you put yourself in those type of environments and those type of communities, you come out with lasting relationships of people who are like-minded, who want to go somewhere and do something besides talk about people and sit around and drink and eat and gossip all day. These are people who want to grow in their career or want to grow in their business and want to grow in their relationships and want to be a better mother, a better wife, a better husband, a better friend. They want better, but not just for themselves, but for everyone who comes in contact with them. This is why this stuff is so important. So I want to share with you because there's also, so we talked about, just really quickly, I want to recap where to begin with self-acceptance. Number one, self-reflection. Number two, forgive yourself. Number three, practice mindfulness. Number four, surround yourself with positivity. And remember, we're not talking about false positivity, but I also want to talk about this one book. Okay. This one book changed my life. It's called Something More, Excavating Your Authentic Self by Sarah Brand Brecknath. It's Breathnach. Okay. Sometimes I talk fast. It's the Jersey in me. And I'm so sorry, Sarah. I hope one day she gets to see this because I love her and I would love to meet her in person. But this book changed my life. This is the book that if you want to dive deep into yourself, to your inner being, and you want exercises all along the way, this is the book. And I just want to read you just one part of it because this, oh my God, was game changing for me. It says, our choices can be conscious or unconscious. Conscious choice is creative, the heart of authenticity. Unconscious choice is destructive, the heel of self-abuse. Unconscious choice is how we end up living other people's lives. The most common despair is not choosing or willing to be oneself. The 19th century Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard warns us, but the deepest form of despair is to choose to be another than oneself. This is how we always hurt the one we love, the one we shouldn't hurt at all, ourself. I'm telling you, when I read this, I was like, man, I didn't even realize all the unconscious habits, all the unconscious places and spaces that I was allowing myself to go into that was really keeping me in this self-hatred pattern. This pattern where I ate my emotions, this pattern where I people please, this pattern where I looked at everybody else's lives and thought my life was crap. Meanwhile, I was blessed beyond measure. I always had what I needed. And so, but I didn't know it because of my unconscious patterns. And this is why we have to sit down and self-reflect. And this is why we have to learn to accept ourselves. This is why self-acceptance becomes so important because it starts to kill some of that unconscious noise. When you start to be more conscious about your unconscious habits, it kills the noise. And so I'm going to tell you that authenticity, being yourself, That's the number one thing you can do to lead yourself on the road to becoming successful, whatever success looks like for you. Because as long as you continue to live like everybody else, to look like everybody else, to sound like everybody else, to dress like everybody else, to talk and walk like everybody else, to hate like everybody else, you're never going to have the life that was meant for you. Your destiny is locked up in someone else's thoughts, in someone else's movement, in the people you're watching on social media. That's where your destiny is. But if you really want it, what did I tell you last week? You have to decide. You have to make a conscious decision. Say, I love myself enough that this is going to be the year that I let all that stuff go. Get into you. Listen, people out here creating the things. I created a book, Find Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself. I created accountability tracking workbook if you want to set your goals and do small steps every day. I've created a guided journal to loving and healing yourself. And listen, there's so many more other authors out there. I promise you. They're just everything you desire is in a book, or listen, or with a coach or with a therapist. Say, I love myself enough to know that if I take this step to invest in myself, if I live boldly in 2024, I can have everything I desire. It may take me some time, so I have to have patience and grace as I go through this, but I can have it. Let me tell you, I will come every single week and say 80% of people, of coaching clients, say that they're in self-esteem and self-confidence has improved as a result of going to a coach. 73% said they improved their relationships. You want better relationships? You want to know how? Get with a coach. Put me in, coach. But you have to be ready. And they say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So if you know that that's for you, listen, www.mosass.com. You can email me at info@mosass.com. But before I end this, I want to tell you this is the week of Valentine's Day. And listen, y'all, I don't care if you don't have no Valentine, okay? I want you to embrace and celebrate love. And if you don't have anybody, celebrate the love of you. Here's some things that you can do if you don't have a Valentine's. Have a Galentine's. Have a Galentine's Day. I know fellas is like, we not having no Galentine's Day. Okay, we not doing it. I hear you, fellas. I hear you. But for my girls, have a Galentine's Day. Get together and with your girlfriends and have a good time. And maybe make a love board. Start to put out the things that you want. Get together and make a vision love board. How beautiful would that be? Or you can just take a listen. If you don't want to go out, you want to do all the girls, take a nice bubble bath. Love on yourself. And as you wash yourself, speak affirmations over yourself. Or take time to meditate. Just sit down and just meditate for a minute. Envision your future and then get out the tub and journal, honey. Write down that thing that you saw. Or call someone who makes you smile and just have a conversation. Just let somebody know that you love them. It doesn't have to be a partner. It could be your children. It could be your best friend. Listen, my girls know. I tell them all the time, I love you. And listen, even my guy friends, I love you. Like, I love that. Pick up the phone, go for a walk, move your body, turn on some music you love. How about do what I do? Turn on some music and dance in your house. Just dance and get into the spirit of love. That's how you call love in. That's a tip for somebody, okay? Or send out a love train. I know people hate, these the chain letters. I know they hate those, but so what? So what? Send out a love train. Send out a love train to 4 people you love, and then challenge them to send it out to 4 more people that they love. Those are different ways that you can celebrate Valentine's Day. And don't give me this as, oh, it's commercial, it's whatever. Listen, everybody will find something negative about something. Who cares? Just get rid of all that stuff in your brain about everything bad about it. And how about just have some fun? Oh my God, we are so serious. Everything is just so serious. And then you wonder why you're not abundance. Abundance comes, honey. That love, that abundance comes when you get in your body and you just, yes. With the red lipstick and the red nails. Yes, I'm calling it my love, honey. Yes, it's so beautiful to do. Celebrate love. And you don't have to do it on Valentine's Day. No, you can do it every day. As a matter of fact, that's how your life changes. When you say, I love myself enough to let myself experience love every day. It's so beautiful. Give yourself that gift of love. Listen, We're not here for a long time. And if you're like me, you're in your late 40s, how many summers you got left? Why not spend the rest of those summers feeling love, feeling positive about yourself, accepting who you are, loving who you are from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and then growing where you need to grow. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you. A plant grows in a loving and beautiful environment. Ask anyone who cares for plants. When you talk to the plant and you water it and you tell the plant you love it, it grows so beautifully. But it starts in the soil and how you till the soil with love. And this is why self-acceptance is so important. I need to pull out that negative root and then replant the soil with beauty. But it starts with you loving and accepting yourself. And I hope that you take on the challenge. And if you need help doing it, please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week and enjoy your Valentine's Day.